Hey everybody, welcome to No Vacancy Live but Delayed, or Delayed but Live. I don't know how you kind of say that. Poor Anthony had a little bit of a tech issue today. He was, I think we were just talking about, he was trapped in 1997 with DSL internet or something like that. Don't stay at that hotel is my message to him. Hey, I'm Glenn Houseman. That's Dr. Producer Suzanne Bagnera, amazing professor from FIU. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm excited to be here today.
Yeah, I'm excited for you to be here with us today too, but I'm also excited because we're going to have a great conversation with somebody today who I feel like we're only having on the show to just validate everything I've been saying for the last couple of years over here with the emergence of AI. But listen, even if she agrees with me, doesn't mean I'm right about anything, right? But she's definitely right about everything. So let's welcome to the stage Sue Graves, CEO with Experience Alive. Sue, I'm excited to have you here because, as you know, Anthony and I did a keynote speech last year at High Tech talking about keeping the humanity in hospitality when it comes to this rapid shift over dependence on technology. And I know you feel the same way. All right, now I'll just shut up for the next hour. Talk, Sue. How are you? Welcome.
Hey, awesome. And I'm super excited to be here. Thanks, Glenn. Thank you, Suzanne, for allowing me to be on the show and share some cool tech stuff that's happening with AI and machine learning, and really helping the industry continue to have fun and help offload some repetitive tasks from employees, because that's what we need to do right now. We need to have some more fun in the industry. That's why people go to college, to come into our industry, is to engage with customers and create awesome experiences. And my goal is to make sure we continue that. So I've got a motto for the year. I think I shared this with Suzanne.
Yeah.
My motto for the year is let the tech take care of the repetitive tasks and the ordinary. Let the humans take care of and create the extraordinary. So that's what we need to be doing this year and beyond, is let's let the human needs take over and create extraordinary experiences, and let this tech take over some of these repetitive tasks that are boring and mundane. And, you know, employees don't want to do them anyway.
Sue, you know what makes an extraordinary experience for me? That is human interaction. It is not jumping off a cliff and cliff diving or anything like that. I know I look like I'm that wild. You know, like the Red Bull people keep trying to sponsor this show. But Sue, for me, really what creates a great experience is when the person who works there connects with me on a human-to-human basis. I've said that. This might be the 100,000th time I've said this in public, but hospitality people are so great at what they do. Like 98, 99% of it's kind of the same, but it's that little bit, that humanity that really can take us over the edge and create those great experiences. So we're off to a positive feedback loop right away here, Sue.
We are. I couldn't agree with you more. And in order to do that, we've got to offload some of this, these repetitive questions that come that are necessary, that the guests have. But, you know, let me ask you a question here, Glenn.
Yeah, I love it.
How comfortable are you with, you know, if you call down to the front desk, do you need a human to tell you what the restaurant hours are? Are you okay with a, you know, conversational AI in any dialect you want, giving you that information? Are you okay with that?
Yes, I'm okay with the information as long as the dialect is Joey from Friends, right? So that's what I want. I don't
know if they have that dialect, but the group I work with has about 20 different dialects. They could probably add that in there. But
I wanted to pick up, go, how you doing? You know, it'll be great. But no, you're absolutely right, Sue, because it's like we used to call down there, and that was just the way of doing things. But it turns out people don't really like having those kind of interactions anyway. I find it weird. I find it awkward. I find it uncomfortable. I also don't like particularly certain hotels like Las Vegas hotels. It'll just ring and ring and ring and ring. And that winds up putting a barrier between the guest and the experience rather than creating a positive, which is I don't have to talk to somebody. I get my towels, and then there are other human beings that can then talk to me about stuff that's important, right?
But Glenn, weren't you saying that you liked pushing all of the buttons in that path to get the answers that you wanted? Wasn't that what you liked?
Well, listen, to be fair, the menu, the dial phone menu recently changed, so you have to listen to all of the options. Sue, why do those messages always change on every single customer service line that I call? Why do they always tell me that I have to list every single number? All right, we're not really talking about that, Sue.
We don't have to do that anymore. You don't have to do that anymore with conversational AI.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is an old way of doing things. And to have the customer sit on the phone and say, dial 1 for this, dial 2 for this, dial 3 for that. That's over, people. We got to move forward. And so there's conversational AI where you can actually ask the question as soon as the phone rings. Conversational AI will take over, transfer you automatically to the right department or help you with a question. If the AI cannot do that, it will transfer you to a human to take that.
Right. That's good. It's much better than what I normally do is I hit 0 repeatedly, but the menu keeps starting and I'm like, 0, operator. So I like your system much, much better. But so you're absolutely right. And really what we're talking about is separating stuff of those boring things that people need to engage in anyway, and allowing people to engage in the positive things and creating those relationships between guests. Because as you know, it's hard out there. You can't really push up those rates. And the one way you're going to be able to do that is creating that amazing emotional experience by connecting experiences to the guests. So, Sue, I think what we're really talking about here is how do we start to think about this? Because we get into this topic, AI, everybody has the AI. But how do we think about it to start thinking about taking out the mundanity and returning to the excitement and the reason why people became hospitality professionals in the first place?
Well, I think, one thing that I find, it kind of makes my day actually, but then it's kind of scary. So when I'm sharing solutions with C-suite or asset management companies, or even general managers, and I bring something up, what would it look like if you could do this? Mm-hmm. Oftentimes when I ask them, hey, what are your biggest obstacles? Nearly everybody has obstacles with labor, right? So there are plenty of labor solutions out there using conversational AI to cut onboarding time 80%. There's a hotel out west that hired 6,500 people in less than 90 days using conversational AI as a companion. I don't call it a bot, I call it a companion. That would not be possible. They expected 80,000 applications. They got 320,000 applications. So if you can imagine trying to sift through 320,000 applications on a human front, instead of using technology to help assist you, you would never get the hotel open. So these are some things that are available right now. And where I was leading is like a lot of people don't even know what's out there to help support the goals that they have and overcoming the biggest obstacles that they have. And so that's what I'm on a mission to do, is to help create knowledge around what is available with AI, machine learning, robotics, and otherwise to help reduce these obstacles, save money, bring more EBITDA to owners and operators. You can have it all. Yes, you can. I've done the ROI on all of them. You can have it all. The owners can be happy. The guests can be happy. The employee can be happy. Everybody can work in a happier environment and make more money. It can happen.
Suzanne?
Yeah, I think that's the big piece of the concern that a lot of folks have is where in which are they sourcing and understanding the ideas that are going to help meet their goals and get them to that point. And then that hurdle of how do we jump off the cliff and use these tools? So that's really where your experience starts to come in and help that process. So how does a hotelier, for example, think about jumping off that cliff and trying to figure out what their goals are? How do they get through that process?
So a big part of the process is just understanding what your biggest obstacles are and your biggest needs, and how they align with the goals you're trying to achieve. And once you have that figured out, then what kind of solutions am I looking for? Where are my obstacles? If my obstacles are in hiring, there are solutions to accommodate that. And I can support anybody listening with, giving them solutions to help solve some of these problems. So what I've done is, I have an operator background. I worked for a large enterprise organization for over 25 years in 5 different brands, from operations to corporate and beyond. And I started as a housekeeper. And I worked almost every job in a hotel. Housekeeping is by far the hardest job in a hotel, physically and mentally. So, yes, banquet serving is tough, but you can't get off those rooms. When you have those rooms, and those rooms can't be sold unless they're clean. So it is a tough job, but so I've done that, and I put myself through college waiting on tables. So I understand the ground up approach to, what people need and how to overcome those, because I've done most of those jobs.
All right. Also, I understand that you're a hustler when it comes to scamming people out of bowling. You act like you don't know what you're doing, but you're hanging out in the bowling alley right now, I think, ready to bowl some 300s. It's just my observation. I don't know. But Sue, when you're thinking about places that are like low-hanging fruit in order to really orient your head to get started, you mentioned labor, but what are some really good categories maybe to focus on if you don't know where to begin? Because I find a lot of problem in my life sometimes is everything seems so big, but if you can break it down into little tiny components, well, then every little bit seems achievable. So how should we orient our brains? What should we think about first when going down this exciting dynamic road of imbuing our people with AI, make them be better people?
I'd say, from my perspective, we got to stop the phones from ringing. And because number one, there's a labor scarcity, right? So you're supposed to have 3 desk clerks, you have 2, but then 1 calls off. So, you're stuck. No matter what, you could have a perfect day and then somebody's kid gets sick or whatever. And I've lived it. So I understand that those dynamics exist on a daily basis in a hotel. So how do you drive consistency? You drive consistency by having a companion like an AI solution to help address those repetitive questions that are coming in. What time does your shuttle run if they're an airport property or otherwise? What are the restaurant hours? How much is valet? Do you have jacuzzi suites? All these are necessary questions that need an answer for the customer. But do they have to be answered, by an employee? Or can you give a quick answer? What the guest really wants is a quick answer. What the employee really wants is to take care of the guest in front of them, right? They don't want 2 phones in their ear and then a finger going, just a minute, So
that's I get the finger, but not usually that specific finger.
Yeah, I'm talking about this finger. But you know what I'm saying is that
totally.
If we can relieve that stress off the front desk, the employees having a better experience. And when our employees have a better experience, they create better experiences for our guests. It's just like a trickle-down effect. So how do we cover some of these little things? And this is easy to implement. It's a quick ROI and makes a huge difference for the guest and employee experience. And frankly, better in some cases, this AI solution can actually respond to a guest in their language. So
that's true.
Yep. So
that makes it even better, because now what you're saying to hoteliers is it's not just this, but you're able to help another group of guests that might have been falling through the cracks before. So by answering these simple questions, it's going to just increase their stay from that alone, right? That's pretty cool. Suzanne?
Well, I think the other piece that we think about is the back of the house, or our internal guests, right? Those employees. And I think that's a really important piece when we think about how can we reinvent our tech stack to support our employees so that they can deliver those experiences. And this is one of that small component that can really help on that retention. I know Sue and I had a conversation before, and I hadn't really thought about it that way, but an employee doesn't necessarily come to work and want to feel energized when they have to answer the same question 100 times in the course of a day based on those phone calls. And that really kind of resonated to, how can we think about doing that differently? And so I would say from the pessimist, if you will, as those that are trying to learn the technology and the tool, Sue, how do you connect, prepare, and educate those to understand that these models can actually be trained so that they don't necessarily hallucinate like a lot of what we see in AI, but we're providing the training, if you will, for that tool.
Yeah, that's precisely it. This isn't something that you just, put out there. This is something that takes a lot of care, feeding and care, if you will, by a human, right? So the humans are training the LLM models for the proper responses based upon your culture, your value system, your brand. You want AI to be like another agent, right? You want it to be another agent. It's just a different kind of agent. So
like James Bond?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But this agent is a part of the team.
License to kill your guest complaints.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So, it takes a lot of training. You're training the LLM. What's interesting is within a very short time, the LLM model is listening to the responses by employees.
Right.
Creating a transcript for better training, right? That management can use that they don't have right now. So all of this is better because now you're training for consistency. Not only that, if you have a new, I'm just using a desk clerk as an example. If you have a new desk clerk, there's a lot they've got to learn. Every single question comes through the desk. Everything. How much is valet? Which I need to be transferred to sales for a large event I'm looking to book. They don't even know the employees yet. This is their first week on the job. Guess what? Yeah. You can train the LLM model to answer those questions and to transfer that to the right salesperson. So if you think about it, we've got a couple things going on here. We're taking care of the employee who doesn't have to learn that right away. Anyway, not right away. Because the AI model, the AI agent, which is your helper, your companion, already knows that answer. So let AI take care of transferring to the right salesperson. How much revenue are you losing? Because number one, they've been on hold for 8 minutes, right? Waiting for you to take care of another call, a guest in front of you. Number two, if they're transferred to the wrong person and it goes to voicemail, the event planner is as busy as the desk clerk and the sales manager. They're just call another hotel. It's a very competitive environment now. So this speeds up and, reduces revenue loss. Although I can't quantify it, you just kind of theoretically have to say to yourself, as an event planner, I'm going to sit on the phone for 8 minutes waiting to get to the right person or maybe the wrong person to take care of my issue, right? Yeah. So let's use this to the greatest extent to save revenue and save our employees.
Yeah, these are things that I definitely think are a win-win for hoteliers, hospitality, hospitality guests, and anyone trying to do business in hospitality. For sure. Where do you think all this is going to lead to? Sue, are we just gonna not have to do anything anymore except smile at each other and everything will automatically happen?
No, we're going to create much better experiences for guests. Yeah, we're going to retain employees.
Mm-hmm.
One thing we got to all think about is we do have a labor scarcity. There is a low birth rate around the world. South Korea, Ukraine, and Taiwan, they have the lowest birth rates. I visited South Korea twice last year, and they use robotics as a companion. I had no problem dining at a restaurant, ordering myself at the table on a screen, and a waiter did come. But the waiter came with a robot that carried some of the items for him. So think about in its current state.
Yep.
Think about guest experiences and trying to preserve our employees. We are actually lengthening the life of an employee that can work for us by utilizing robotics as a companion. So in its current state, a server with a 6-top or an 8-top has to probably make 3 trips to the kitchen and back, right? Think about it. So now you got 2 people that have been served or 3. They're not going to eat until everybody gets served. It's just the way things go. It's the right thing to do, right? So now they got to wait for the server to come. There's nothing wrong with what the server is doing. It's just enter in robotics as a helper. Now you've got the robot carrying the other 4 people's plates, right? Or drinks and beverages, accompanying the waiter to the table, waiter or waitress to the table,
Mm-hmm.
Now everybody gets to dine at once. Yes, you still might have to run back to the kitchen, but you're saving the legwork of the person having to run back and forth to the kitchen, potential slips and falls,
Mm-hmm.
and the guest has a better dining experience because now they're able to dine together. And the server probably wins because you're flipping the table. It's all about flipping the table. As fast as I can flip that table, I'm making more tips. So everybody wins in that model too. So this is how we need to start thinking about the future. What can I do to help my associates extend their life and have more fun? That creates a better guest experience at the end. And these are just a couple of examples that I'm sharing that nobody can argue that creates a better guest experience.
No, for sure. And the robots have yet to figure out to ask for their part of the tip pool. So until that day, they'll be really making out. Yeah.
Yeah. Hotel Luma in San Francisco. I'm going to do a call out here.
Good.
They actually ordered 2 more robots because the robot they were currently using has become part of their team. Mm-hmm. And actually delivers coffee and danishes and any retail items to a guest in the morning. And there's so much
need in the morning to be talking to someone and feeling like they have tip money ready and all of that kind of stuff.
They ordered 2 more and they are making money. They're paying for the robot because of it.
Listen, I don't need some guy giving me the stink eye when he realizes I'm alone in the room and I ordered that much food, you know? So better for the robot. Now, over at FIU, Dr. Producer Suzanne, you got yourselves an AI course to help people kind of understand this whole kind of universe as well.
We do. And Sue
to continuing to watch our show where we'll talk about this.
And Sue happens to be one of our industry experts in the course.
Who would have known?
Yay. I'll throw up this flyer. And so you can definitely scan that QR code. Mm-hmm. And our course really looks at starting in March. And we really are going to focus on all of these different aspects that we talk about with Sue and the different tools that are out there. We have a variety of different experts. And truly, this course really generated because of this podcast. Because
awesome.
Yes, and because we have...
And this podcast is actually AI generated too, so you can see how good the technology has come already.
Yeah. Very advanced.
Exactly. Listen, many times our guests and even the questions that have come by through our followers and fans have really been around the AI space and really hearing a lot of some of the concerns that people have and how do they connect this next level of component. And so that was what created this course. So I'm actually the instructor of the course with my colleague Dale. We've got amazing people like Sue, and we've had a lot of other guests. I know Alberto, he's another one of our guests, Santana. And so there's a lot of different folks.
Alberto's awesome.
He is. And so a lot of folks have lent their expertise and knowledge in aspects relating to how can you be better at data management, customer service, the journey, strategic management, operations, and just having a better understanding of AI and machine learning. And it's an online course. It's self-paced. And so you can reach out to me and I can help get you started. It's going to be a lot of fun and you'll learn from experts like Sue.
Awesome. I love it. Sue, before we wrap up today, in your ultimate panacea of hospitality, what would you like to see how people incorporate technology, and what is that world going to look like?
Well, I'd love to help, modernize the industry as fast as possible because it's necessary. We've got, staff running on a little treadmill, so to speak, or what other kind of wheel you want to pick.
I like hamster wheel myself.
I've used hamster wheel before. I think with Suzanne too. But
maybe cheese wheel.
Cheese wheel. Whatever wheel you pick, we're running. And so they're running, but they can't take 10 minutes to have a discussion and think about, hey, what can I do to impact the running so that I don't have to run so much and I can actually think strategically. And there are so many about the business and the forward momentum for our guests, our employees, and everything. I mean, we have a tremendous turnover rate in the industry right now. I mean, almost over 70% of hotels are suffering from labor shortages. There's about an 80% turnover. overall. So
The good news is that number is low considering the last few years. That's back to industry averages over there. So at least it's not quite over 100% how it was during COVID and stuff.
Yeah, but but add in the low birth rate and, labor shortage and people, trying to get the best employee, and even wages are increasing and they're still not finding, the right employees. So how to preserve the most valuable asset we have currently, which is our current labor force? How do we preserve them, keep them happy, and drive some consistency at these properties and create better guest experiences? So all that can be done. I ran 3 airport properties, and 2,000 to 6,000 calls come in a month for shuttles. Just that offloading that alone. And there's a solution for that I found. And when I found them, I said, oh my gosh, where were you guys?
Yeah. I mean, that shuttle thing alone, I'd love to be able to just like have on the app for the hotel or something like that, push button for shuttle with what
there
shuttles
is. I found one, Glenn.
I love that. Because I'm tired, I'm crabby. I'm like, the last time I had to do it, my flight was canceled and I was trapped overnight at the hotel.
Yep.
And I was not in the mood to talk to people. But then I had to talk to the front desk person who had to make me go to the shuttle person, who then told me they'd be there in 15 minutes, but I had no idea what that really meant. So the whole thing was very, very stressful.
Well, guess what? There's a solution out there that solved that.
I love it.
Imagine taking an Uber or Lyft and knowing right where the car is and how far you have to go.
Love it.
There's something that's been developed for shuttles. So now you can order your own shuttle, and then you can track it. No more running around, no more phone calls to the front desk. You're frustrated, they're frustrated.
Right. I just for this alone, like, I could run back in and hit the bathroom because I know that the van's not going to be here for.
Yeah, you can track it, man. I found all these really cool novel solutions that are game changers. So,
all right. Really, so I guess, Sue, the last question I have for you is, how can we find you? How can we learn more about Experience Alive and Sue Graves?
Well, the best way to find me is LinkedIn. I'm on my LinkedIn all day. Susan Graves, I'm the lady in the red dress. So, find me on LinkedIn, connect. Happy to have a conversation with you and share a few solutions. So,
awesome.
Love it.
Thank you for being here, Sue. I really appreciate you.
Thanks so much, Glenn. Thank you, Suzanne. Appreciate it. Y'all have a great day.
Thanks, you too. I want to thank you guys for being here today. Suzanne, listen, I would recommend that they go ahead and they download the audio version of this podcast where they get their shows. If you want to rewatch it, we are where you are. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube. Hey, we are there. Meanwhile, I want to thank everyone for being here. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video. And remember, you've got one life, so blaze on and
follow your passion.
See y'all next time. All right, we're off.
Hey,